Yo, 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 no maniacs. What's happening? Long time no see. Seems like it's been a while since I seen you guys, and it's good to see everybody, man. Welcome to the show, man. This is Nomad Live, all bears all the time. Man, listen, we weren't able to do our regular Friday night show because it was holidays and we just had things going on. We had a producer that lost a loved one. It was just what it is. In the holidays, it's just family moving around, and it's just difficult to get people together in one place to do what you want to do. So hopefully we'll be able to make that up for you guys too later on. Hey, I'm gonna give you guys a little tip here. Everybody here that is not subscribed, I'm just gonna give you this tip right now. Everybody that's here that's not subscribed, you might want to go ahead and hit that subscribe button because the show we have planned is being contemplating on doing that for the subscribers, to reward the subscribers with some extra content exclusively for them, not to harm anyone, but to make sure that the people that rock with us get rewarded. So, I'm not saying that we're gonna do that, but if you're not subscribed, you probably want to, because you would really like this next show that we're gonna do after tonight's Nomad at Night post game. The next one we're going to do next Friday, this coming Friday, you're going to really want to be a part of. So if you're not subscribed, I'll give you the advice right now. Go do that now. Hit the like button while you're out there. Share it. Notification bell as well. But fellas, man, I think it's right to start this conversation off with the coaching moves that's going on in the NFL right now, Samuel. It's some moves. It's some stuff shaking right now. And I think our draft position isn't really affected, but I can see a move or two this week or next week kind of, upsetting that maybe possibly in the next couple of weeks, man. But, Frank Wright got fired from Carolina today. I didn't see that one coming. I thought for sure that they, at least let him finish the season and evaluate what they can do to help Bryce Young. But apparently, man, that owner of theirs is very temperamental. He saw some stuff last week that didn't sit well with him, and he couldn't wait. He's got a hairline trigger, and he let Frank Wright go. And so I want to know, just starting off there, what you think about that, Samuel?
Man, I don't know, man. That was an impulsive move, man, by an owner. I think it's a little too early to be firing Frank Wright. Especially if you as the owner make the call on which quarterback you're going to take. So don't be upset if this is not working out the way that you thought it was going to work out. On the other side, though, it is good to see that people making decisions. If he's not happy, though, it's his team. He can decide to do what he wants to do with it. I just don't agree with what he's done, man. And he also let go, I think, Deuce, the running back coach, and Josh McCown, the quarterback's coach. Both guys who've been around the league for a long time, well-respected at their positions. And, man, it just seems like he has zero tolerance for whatever he had zero tolerance for down there. I guess it's the losing. I mean, they're in Carolina. They should be used to that after giving us up all of their assets. So, man, that team is shot. I'll tell you like that.
Man, yo, what's up, No Maniacs? I didn't hear about the Josh McCown situation. I didn't realize that.
Yep.
Okay. He's been getting he's been elevated and lauded quite a bit in the coaching world very quickly. I'm not sure whether that's a good or a bad thing, but clearly Tepper thought it was a bad thing, right? Like, what more can I say? Now he's on the market. That's very interesting. I didn't know that at all.
With your kids. Very
Look at it. Go ahead, kids. I thought you would.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, I heard about Frank Reich, and immediately I stopped, and we were going, like, we were talking behind the scenes about this, and like, Frank is connected. Like, Flus was his DC, right? So there's that connection right away. I was like, oh well, okay, Frank Reich's out there. That's okay. No big deal. But if I was Luke Getsy, I would scheme the game of my life tonight, baby. Like that's what I'm saying.
I believe I'm just gonna speak to the Carolina situation. Now, see, sometimes when you have a coaching change, sometimes the person that comes in gets all the galvanization in the world. Next thing you know, they're out there playing like their hair on fire. But I don't think no matter who you put in that situation is going to fix that offensive line in a week. Nobody. I mean, I took a peek at some of the highlights, man. Bryce Young is playing his butt off based on what's in front of him. He's out there trying. I don't doubt what Bryce Young can do. I'm not one of those people to say, oh, he's too small, or he's not going to make it. Nah, I think he's overcome that his whole life. I think he'll overcome it at this level too. It's just a matter of will they find the right people to put in front of him to design what he needs to have designed in front of him, just like any other quarterback. You have to have the right people in place for you to flourish. I don't see that happening this year. And if our first pick is contingent on the Panthers, I think we're sitting in pretty good shape. But I could see, some people that might be trying to jockey into position now. New England is definitely going to be in the quarterback picture. Definitely going to be in the quarterback picture. At first, I was like, Bill Belichick, he's there. Nah, they ain't going to, try to move positions to get a quarterback. I don't see Bill Belichick in that seat next year. I just don't, man. I know people think the world of Bill Belichick, but I don't see it. I think they're going to get some new young energy in there, and I think they're going to go after the franchise quarterback, whoever that might be, however they might have to get to that spot to get it. So I think it's going to be a good tussle for that first pick for whoever wants. It's going to be, I think the value of it is going up and up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it absolutely is. I definitely agree with that. But man, it puts us again with that double-edged sword because we know who the best player in the draft is, and we know we want him in Marvin Harrison Jr. So I think the more we toy with giving up that first round pick, the less our chances are of getting him. Because if we don't take him at 1, I absolutely think that Arizona will take him at 2, unless they decide to trade out, which could very well be, they may also receive a king's ransom for the number 2 pick, which is what we can only cross our fingers and hope that happens. If not, then they're definitely going to take them off before we get an opportunity to. So, yeah, I told you, I wrestle with it every night, man, when I'm doing my mock drafts. It's like, do I trade the number 1 pick and lose Marvin Harrison Jr., or do I take the haul that I can get for that number 1 pick and then just, accept another wide receiver later on in the draft? So I think that's going to be the choice for Ryan Pace or whoever our GM may be, because man, there's a lot of talk about cleaning the house here at home as well. That's the new rumor out there. So
I don't buy that one bit, Sam. I ain't lying to you. Not about the GM.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so either. But man, if you think about it, okay, so we talked on our franchise mode about this ourselves, that if or was it behind the scene in franchise mode, where if we go and get Jim Harbaugh, he's going to want to control the roster. And
we talked about that live.
Yep. So okay, so if our president and Kevin Warren says I want Harbaugh regardless of everything, then and Jim Harbaugh's like, well, I don't want Ryan Poles as my GM. I want someone else I can trust, that I can, and I want to have some say so. Then it depends on how they feel about Jim Harbaugh. That's what I'm thinking, or whoever else may be that head coaching prospect that they're looking at. If they just are not in alignment with what Kevin Warren wants, and and whoever his head coach is going to be, because you want to get everything aligned. We keep talking about that too. We haven't had an opportunity to get everything in alignment. And this, if Ryan Poles does get fired, it's no fault of his own. I think he's done a pretty damn good job so far in his role with what he inherited. So I think the coaches are, hurting him right now.
Hey, kid, give me 1 second before you jump in here. I've been going on and on about this on Twitter. Anybody that follows me on Twitter, I'm Nomad Networking, at Nomad Networking. Follow me on Twitter. But man, I've been ranting and raving about this, man. I got a problem with the coaching recycling, man. All these different coaches getting recycled. They've been here, they've been there. And I keep noticing a through line. It's like, man, never going to change. Things are never going to evolve in this league, and like they should. The evolution of this football game and NFL football should be faster than what it is. You know why it keeps getting held back? Because we keep recycling the same coaches. Take a page from the Houston Texans. Get a young, fiery former player that just recently got off the field with all the energy in the world, like DeMeco Ryan. You find that guy. You find that guy that inspires those players and just injects juice into your organization. I'm not against Jim Harbaugh, but I really want to see some young, youthful juice come into this organization for a change. A former player. You know, I'm not saying that they need to fire. I already let you guys know how I feel about Eberflus right now. He's going to have to show me something as far as I'm concerned. But if we do make a coaching change, I want to see some juice. Somebody that can relate to the players that are on the field because they just got off the field. Somebody that the players can rally around, man. You can see the energy. When you see DeMeco Ryans in that locker room after doing a post-game speech, I don't care where you are, who you are, you're going to feel that energy. That's what I'm looking for. I want to see some young, youthful guys come in here with juice and change this thing around, man. So I'm tired of that whole, let's get this coach from here. He was successful there, man. Forget them dudes, man. There's plenty of dudes that need opportunity that can get the same job done. So my 2 cents on all that.
And and everybody has to respect it. Everybody should have their own spin and angle on it. What I will say is Flus is a former player. I don't know how youthful he is. You know, if you want younger than Flus, maybe, but he's a former player. Kind of, he's new coach. I don't trust that anymore. I just want somebody with experience. Like, that's what I want. That's somebody that's tried, true, tested, has done this. You can point to him and say, yeah, I recognize that guy. He did this before. I can trust him with the franchise. And that's my 2 cents there. But I hear where you're coming from. DeMeco Ryans is doing some crazy stuff over there. And it's not just on the offensive side of the ball. Like, both sides of the ball over there is it's some crazy stuff going on in Houston right now. And we'll get there, guys. Unfortunately, it doesn't really look like we're going to get there this year, but I'm pleasantly surprised and happy with this game coming up here tonight. I think we're going to do some nice stuff tonight. We'll get into that a little bit later on.
Yeah, we'll get right into that. But one more thing I want to say about that situation before we move on is, I get the trepidation from people, based on what we got going on now. The inexperience is costing us, and we feel in a certain way about the inexperience right now. The difference between the inexperience right now and the inexperience you can bring in is you can support that and buffer that with experience. You can bring in experienced coordinators to help maneuver that thing on along the way it needs to be in case the inexperience becomes an issue. That's the problem we have right now, is we don't have experience to back up the inexperience, and it's starting to really, really show. And so that's how you can fix that. You know what I mean? You can bring in a DeMeco Ryans and have them be buffered by a Jim Caldwell or, some other coordinator out there. That experience is going to bring a lot to that room when DeMeco Ryans is roaming up and down that sidelines wondering, okay, what should I do here? You got experience backing that up. So that's how I land on that whole conversation, man. You can do the inexperience, but you gotta buffer it with some kind of experience.
All right. So sorry, Sam. I'm glad you pulled this back into the coaching conversation, because I want to say today that we're probably going to see Matt Eberflus as the head coach in 2024. Don't be surprised. And I think I'm not. I wouldn't put a large sum of money on it. I'd put a small sum. And I think Frank Reich might bring that experience you're talking about from if you're looking at the Bears right now, everybody is brand fresh, spanking new, inexperienced guys outside of the defensive coordination that Matt Eberflus himself has experience doing. and that's seeming to excel. But everybody's inexperienced rookies doing what they're trying to do, learning on the job. We started to see a little bit of progress, maybe, and I'm hoping we see some of the progress continue tonight. But I have a feeling Flus is going to stay. I have a feeling Frank Reich's going to wind up on this staff. And really, guys, don't be surprised if the name McCown also gets thrown into that mix in some capacity. That's interesting stuff. But I don't think, like, for exactly what you described, Nomad, that's kind of what we have. If you shake it up now, I'm all for it. But I don't think Poles is for it. I think Poles is going to want to ride this out. I think he's going to give the guy some experience in coordination, whether that's on the offensive side or on the defensive side or both. But
so you know what? Go ahead, Samuel. You got something on that?
Yeah. No, I'm in agreement that with Kez there. Now, if the decision is solely up to Poles, then I think that the chances of Flus coming back is probably 60-40, if not greater. You know,
yeah.
if the decision is solely up to Ryan Poles, and that's where I think Kevin Warren's going to have some say so, and maybe ownership is going to look and say, hey, you know, this guy's been historically bad. You know, we're done with it right now. Like, that's, you know, is it going to be both of you guys, or are you going to pick a new guy? Are you going to and allow us to help you find a new guy? Now, in that case, then I can see him leaving. Or if he's able to sell them on, like you're saying, you know, a new offensive and new defensive coordinator. And I'm in agreement with what Nomad said. I like, you know, the prior player or a former player from the current past, you know, coming back. We're not only seeing it in D'Amico Ryans, we're seeing it in Antonio Pierce happening in Las Vegas. He's having a lot of success. You know, leaders of men. That's what we need. We need a real leader of men and someone who understands the game, you know, and not just the game as it was, but the evolution of the game. And I think that's what you're getting in both of those guys who understand the evolution of the game. D'Amico Ryans, he didn't even get a veteran offensive coordinator. He had a guy that he trusted, you know, from the 49ers organization who he worked with, in Bobby Slowick, and that guy has proven to be a mad genius. I mean, he's under the tutelage of Kyle Shanahan. I think we need one of those Shanahan guys, if nothing else, as our
do we not have one?
No, he's not. I wouldn't consider him one. He's supposed to be from.
Isn't he one of those guys? Isn't he from that tree?
He's a branch from the branch.
I've heard this story before. You know what I'm saying? I've heard this story.
He came from Green Bay, and Matt LaFleur came from Tennessee, who came from Washington. So he's not exactly a San Francisco tree. He's more so from the Shanahan tree.
So
but like Samuel said, he's
Shanahan
so far off.
than-
He's so far off of the initial root of that tree that if you snipped him off, it wouldn't ruin that timeline any way whatsoever. He's like literally like your second, third cousin you see once a year.
Yeah. Good one, Nick.
What up, cuz?
hey, Samuel. So somebody today asked me a very interesting question, and it wasn't. I think it was based on me saying I'm tired of seeing these same old coaches being recycled. And he asked me something to the nature of why do you think they keep making decisions like this? I can't quote him verbatim, but he asked me, you know, why do you think that keeps happening like that? And I told him, I said, because they're probing the wrong people they're going up the wrong avenues. What they're doing is this old white men that look for old white men's advice. Be honest with you. And, you know, they watch too much. They're human just like anybody else. They watch too much ESPN, watch too much NFL Network, and they're making decisions based off of that. And that's why, you know, if you watch ESPN or NFL Network, the next coaches are going to be somebody from the Shanahan tree, somebody from the Belichick tree, and the owners keep on biting that bait. Instead of doing that, what they should be doing is probing the players and probing the young guys that just came off the field and say, hey, man, what do you think about this? I need some young energy. They're probing the wrong people, and they're taking advice from people on TV, and that's the reason why those MFers are on TV and not running organizations. You know, that's what the problem is. So to me, I think that they're looking down the wrong avenue for help as a resource to get their organizations going the right way. If they look for younger guys that have less on their resume and give them an opportunity and pair them up with some seasoned veteran coordinators, I think you'll get way more out of what you have going on currently. So that's just me and my thoughts on that and how everybody else feels, man. But we'll end up talking about that a whole lot more during the as the season starts to wane and during the off season. But let's get into let me get this inactive list out here before we get into this conversation about the Bears. Foreman is down. Peterman is down. Larry Borum is down. Tyreek Stevenson's down. Noah Sewer's down. Quindale Johnson and Dom Rob is still inactive, healthy inactive. Velus is up. Chris, I'm going to let you jump in right now while I got it on my mind.
I will take the lashes for you, sir.
Oh, that's not it.
Well, we've got a clip from the last Minnesota game that really, I mean, I know everybody's down on Velus, questionable hands, and there's some. He's earned that badge to a degree, but when you have an explosive player like Velus, you got to find different ways to get him the ball. And I just looked at this play from the last Minnesota game, and it just put me in the mind of how teams used Cordarrelle Patterson in the last few years. So I want to take a look at it. I showed it to Nomad, and here, let's take a look at it.
Okay, Chris, before you keep going, I just got this for you guys. How many times after that have you seen that, fellas? Just on a show of hands. Give me show of hands. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Show me a hand, fellas, or show me in the chat. How many more times have you seen that play be run after all of that success on that play?
They haven't used it. I haven't seen it.
He hasn't been on the field. Maybe once afterwards. They pulled him out after the issue with the punts.
Why would you stop running that, Samo? Why would you not run that again?
After
what
game was that a clip from?
That was from the last Minnesota game, week 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, he had an opportunity to even cut that back in and possibly hit it for a touchdown.
You can just see the explosiveness in the way, he moves with the ball. And that's a weapon, guys. And I know everybody's, down on Velus. Let's get rid of Velus. I'm going to give you some insight right here, gentlemen. Velus Jones will be on this team next year. Mm-hmm. And he will be because he's still on his rookie contract. And those people at Hallis Hall know that he is a weapon. Now, unfortunately, our offensive coordinator fails to find ways to use him. But if they can get creative with him and do some things like we just saw in that clip, you've added another, home run threat to your offense. So
Chris,
yes, sir.
So I'm thinking about these highlights I looked at, and I'm wondering they had to have said, okay, let's look at this last Minnesota and see if we can find some explosives in this last game tape. And Velus ended up being one of the explosive in that game tape. And novel idea. Let's try that again. Why don't we?
It might just be time to switch Velus from wide receiver to running back, man.
Well, and again, the Cordarrelle pattern. When Cordarrelle came into the league, he was a wideout.
Yep.
And now he's almost exclusively used in the backfield. So except when they kick him out of the backfield until But I'm just they got to scheme him. The guy's a weapon, and that's what a good coach would do, was find the strengths of the players again and play them to those strengths.
You know what, King? Man, Velus has earned his fair share of criticism, no question about it, bro. There is no defending Velus Jones when it comes to his own shortcomings. When he fumbles, when he doesn't catch a ball. That's all relevant and that's all fair. How he's been used, whether or not we can call him a bust or not, or a wasted pick by Ryan Poles, I think that's way unfair. when your usage is next to zero, how are you going to call him a wasted pick? You know, anybody that's watching the show or in earshot of what I'm saying right now knows if you get a talented enough coordinator with a mind creative enough to know what to do with a guy like that, how much more explosive and how many more explosive plays would you get out of Velus Jones? So before we jump the gun and call that guy a wasted pick or a bust, consider how the coordinator that has his talent skill set, how's he applied it? How's he used it? That's my only beef with people out here calling Velus a bust or a wasted pick is really, are you really weighing, how he's being used into, how you want to judge him? If you are, then cool. That's your opinion. But I'm just of the mindset of I need to see a whole lot more.
Well, Velus averaged almost 9 yards a carry last year in a limited role. He only had 9 attempts. He's only had 4 this year, and he's averaged, I think he picked up about 20 yards on that one. But he hasn't fumbled the ball this year. It's been more the drops than anything. It hadn't been fumbles, and we talk about his hands, but just again, you got to get that guy involved.
Stay above waist, kids. I see you.
They got nothing. I'm gonna let you guys ride this one out. I got nothing to say here, man.
I mean, would you disagree that he's not a weapon, no kids?
No, I would not disagree with that.
Okay.
I think that you have to get him involved in these next 6 games to know if you're going to keep him next year. You have to see what you get out of him. That's how
listen, that should be the mantra of the entire team. At this point, the playoffs are probably not going to happen. So you got to see what you got with a lot of these players. And I think the coaching staff's too worried about their own future to go down that route. So,
hey, Chris, I'm glad you're in here right now because it leads me into the conversation I just saw. I guess Pose did he gave ESPN 1000 an interview again today, and I think what came out of that, I think what came out of that, a couple things were, I guess he had a question was asked to him about, what was the deal with Flus not having Montez Sweat in the game in critical down and distance, and the bull crap answer that I've seen him give at the podium was silly. I don't care what kind of rotation you got going on. In a critical down, you get your most impactful players on the field. And so apparently, Poe said something to the nature of he had a talking to with Flus. What does that say to me, Chris? That says to me that I think Kevin Warren is having a hand in it. Like we talk about accountability and, the coaches holding themselves accountable and not, pointing the finger at the players so often. I think that was a little bit of accountability publicly. I think that sounds to me, I could be wrong, but it sounds to me like, hey, Kevin Warren's like, hey, man, look, that crap answer he gave the media, man, hey, man, you need to holler at him, man. That was bull crap. Montez Sweat was supposed to be on the field.
Well, it's the same thing when Detroit was down on the goal line. They didn't have Sanborn in. I mean, they had what was the backup?
Dylan Cole.
Dylan Cole, yeah.
Yeah, why the hell was he on the field?
That was
part of the rotation. He used the same word, rotation.
Now I could, you know what? I can come up with a good explanation for having Cole on the field. That's the one time you play your Sam linebacker when you got your heavy personnel out. Now I can excuse that, but I agree with you guys. I still would have put my best tackler on the field for that, or my best 2 tacklers on the field.
He had to be. I mean, who's more likely to hit somebody for tackle for loss? Jack Sanborn or Dylan Cole?
Since we're back on coaching again, right? That's really what tonight comes down to as well. By no stretch of the imagination tonight are we in a situation where the talent on the field that the Chicago Bears is putting up against the Vikings is lesser. So, and again, you heard the inactives. We should stand to that's not counting Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins. Those are huge inactives. We're putting on our team's healthy right now, with the exception of Donta Foreman. It's going to come down to coaching tonight, and I think Flores is going to put on another defensive clinic, and hopefully we learned our lesson from last week. That's
Nick,
that's
if you
what
don't mind,
the wow.
if you don't mind putting that comment back up from Chicago Sports Talk, Michael. Chicago Sports Talk, Michael. Welcome to the show, man. Hope you become a no maniac and keep coming back often. Welcome to the show and welcome to the channel. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, guys. All you people new to the show, man, we need that right now. We need that in a bad way, because I tell you what, if you really want to enjoy some of this next content we got coming out, man, you're gonna need to be a subscriber. I'm just gonna tell you right now, man. We're just gonna reward the people that subscribe to the channel. So just want to put that out there now. So it's a good time to do that, fellas. I didn't mean to interrupt you, kids. I apologize, bro.
Oh, it's all good. Like, share, subscribe. No Maniacs, what's up? Daryl Gibson, Stoltz Schwengel. Say that 2 times fast. Good old Don Burrs out there. James Hunter, Plank, King Buka World. All you guys, thanks for representing as usual. Like, share, subscribe. Let a friend know. But I think tonight's game comes down to coaching. And that's a relatively new staff over in Minnesota too. That's how I think everything lines up. I think we definitely have the talent required to play a solid game once more. We lined up well against the Lions. These guys ain't the Lions. They're missing their number 1 wide receiver and their main quarterback. We're up against the Pastronaut today. And I would like to see Flus rattle the Pastronaut. Throw a couple of blitzes.
Samuel, I'm gonna walk you into this conversation right here. If you don't mind, Chris, play that Justin Fields clip. One more time, Chris. One more time. Before you answer, before I get into it, Justin, man, I'm your fashion designer, man. Hey, I'm just gonna tell you right now, man. He getting over like Rover on you. He playing you, man. You need to find somebody else, man. But all that aside, I don't care nothing about what kind of clothes he's got on, man. I really don't. Samuel, you might be muted, bro. But hey, Samuel, what does that fist bump tell you about the relationship between Poles and Justin Fields? Samuel still with us? You muted, bro.
Yeah, you muted, Sam.
Are you not muted?
Something wrong with his audio.
You're not muted.
There's something wrong with his audio.
Go ahead. There you go.
Okay. So Chris, what does that fist bump tell you about the understanding between Justin Fields and Ryan?
It looks like they've got a good relationship, and they're probably a good understanding. I've said this all along, man. People are making this narrative about, what he's got to prove. He's got this last 6 games. I mean, you know what? This decision on Justin Fields, as far as I'm concerned, is Ryan Poles to make. And we do not know what's going on in that man's head. And I don't care who you get the report from. I don't think anybody knows but Ryan Poles. But when I see things like that, it definitely shows me they don't have a strained relationship. So I'm pretty sure Ryan Poles is in communication with JF1 quite a bit.
Hey,
so
you know what it looked like to me, Chris? I'm just gonna tell you off my bald instincts. It looked to me like, hey, bro, I'll handle your business. And Justin said, I got you. What that means is, hey, man, you need to go out here and shut these people up, man. I know what you got in you, but go out here and handle your business on national TV with the world watching. I got you. That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah, I would agree.
little bit of love, GM, QB1, better than hatred. You know what I mean? It could be a situation where it's, cut eye and F-bombs and kiss teeth, but a dap-up's pretty nice. Hopefully that continues on. And I have a feeling it's going to continue on for a long time. I'm not, I don't think there's any reason for those two to have a strained relationship at this present time.
So what another part of the conversation I saw from ESPN 1000 was, I think they asked him about Justin. He was like, he was very proud of the way Justin played last week. This is just fairly normal reactions you would hear from a GM about a football player. What it sounds to me and looks like to me is, I think the front office has way more understanding of who Justin is and what he can be than what I think these coaches have. I think that's what I think is going on right now. I think Justin is even making his coaches believers right now. Those coaches want a particular type of quarterback. And I think that front office is finally waking up and seeing. If they ever was sleep on it, I think they know now that if you can't get this thing going right with this quarterback, if you've been watching anything NFL related, all you had to do was be watching that game last night between the Bills and Eagles. What that mobile quarterback is going to do for you that can also deliver from the pocket is enormous. Enormous. As a matter of fact, Jalen Hurts finished the game with his feet. Josh Allen kept him in the game with his feet. All these people that want to him and Han and just, be crazy about what kind of quarterback you think the Bears should have, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
You know what, Nomad? And I've looked at a few other podcasts today, and I know, there's two camps. Either you're in pro Justin, or you're anti Justin.
Yep.
And I think we definitely we're placed in the pro Justin camp, and for good reason. I think we support Justin not only because we believe in him and we believe in what he can be, but I think we believe in the transitioning of the quarterback and what it's turning into. And a lot of people just cannot accept that. But that's and you know what? I know people used to be on Lamar Jackson, how they used to just when he came out, there were people, GMs were on TV talking about, well, you should be a wide out. You should be a wide receiver. I mean, how long we'd heard that about, athletic quarterbacks. And, now you don't hear that about Lamar Jackson. One MVP later, you don't hear that same narrative. So now it seems as though Justin Fields is the whooping boy. But folks need to get ready because things are changing. The game is changing. So
let me run this by you, Chris. I want you to respond, but I want everybody to respond to this. I want you guys in the chat to definitely effing respond to this. Now I'm watching the Oregon. Who was that? Oregon was playing the other day, Chris. We was talking about this game.
I didn't need to watch anything this weekend.
Okay, so Oregon was playing somebody, and it was a conference game. I think it was for the conference title or whatever. No, it wasn't, but whatever it was an Oregon game. And this commentator was so in on Bo Nix. Bo Nix is good. I really like Bo Nix. But he said Bo Nix is the Michael Jordan of the new quarterbacks. He's got he's a mixture of everything. He's got Joe Burrow's mind. And I want to see what you guys think about it. He's got Joe Burrow's mind, and he's got the ability of Patrick Mahomes. Why couldn't it be the other way around? If you want to call him the Jordan of the new quarterbacks, why couldn't it be the other way around?
Well, that's the way the narrative has been painted for years.
I think there's an obsession with, and it's still that like that to this day, that a black man can't think on the level of some white guy. Mm-hmm. And that's what that was implying to me. But I don't know how, and I'm just telling you exactly what he said, so you guys respond to that. I'm just repeating what he said. Feel how you want to feel about it.
Well, the black quarterback has always been equated with athleticism, whereas the white quarterback is, he's the thinker. He's the one that, he uses his mind to overcome. So I mean that's nothing new, and it's still prevalent. We know that, but you know what? Time's going to take care of that, and at some point, I mean, it's the scales are shifting as we speak, and so I think we're more concerned with the acceptance of that whole idea, and because Justin is a part of that idea, he's a part of that narrative. That's why we kind of get swept up in it. But it's definitely the change is coming. It's here, and I watched some film of Vince Evans like in 1983, and he was doing the same type of things. But there were no RPOs back then. The only time you ran is when you got flushed. But he was good at it. Bobby Douglas, even before him, who was a brutal 6'4", 230-pound, but white quarterback. He was the originator of it in modern football. He set the record for rushing yards by a quarterback that Vic ended up eventually breaking 35, 40 years later. But I mean that narrative is going to change whether people want it to or not, because the game's going to change, and whatever gets you to win, and there is a risk of injury to those players that play like that. So they've got to find a balance. And I think Lamar Jackson has done a good job of that. And I hope Justin does too. But the game's changing.
Yeah, the game is changing so much that it's also a risk for those pocket passes as well.
Yeah.
Because defensive linemen are bigger and faster. Linebackers are a lot faster now. Linebackers running faster than quarterbacks now and running backs. So the game is just evolving, man. And I'm tired of talking about this narrative. Like you said, Chris, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. Like the athletic quarterback is here. You have to be athletic to play the position now. And
my biggest problem, Samo,
what's that?
Is that those particular quarterbacks that play the game with their legs and their arm, they don't get the same love from the refs in the pocket.
They don't.
Man, and Cam Newton was the poster child. They beat him down and late hit him to death, and so many times he never some of the stuff that they had done to him. If they'd have done to Tom Brady, a lot of those players would have got kicked out the league. Probably.
Hey Chris, I was watching one time.
Hold on, no man. Let me touch that situation.
I got to do this one though, man. I got to do this one because it will lose my mind.
Okay.
It will skip my mind if I don't. But I'm gonna be short.
He's old, man. Let him say it before he lose it.
There was 100 greatest, I think 50 greatest players in the NFL history, and I think Joe Montana. I'll never forget this interview. They're sitting down with him, and some guy, I can't remember who was. I think it was another player, was asking him, Joe, how did you get so quick at your progressions? And he said, because I had to. He said, have you seen my legs? I wish I could be Randall Cunningham. He said, if I was Randall Cunningham, it would have been like 1-2 progression and I'd have ran because I could. And I remember that. And that was a long time ago. I saw that video. And, people keep talking about, Joe Burrow's his mind. Joe Burrow is Joe Burrow because he has to be Joe Burrow. Everybody is everybody because you that by necessity, right? Joe Burrow is a pocket quarterback because he has to be by necessity, right? Mm-hmm. And, these quarterbacks that can move, they move because they can, because it's necessary. And so people become what they need to be by necessity. And I'm sorry about that, kids. I interrupted.
You did, and I'm gonna just say this is a Bears show. You know what I mean? Yeah. We've been lost with white pocket passers. We're now losing with a running quarterback who happens to be black. We've lost with all different. Lost with Mitch Trubisky, who realistically was also a white guy who had the ability to rush. We lose. So I think I think we can just leave the race out of this situation and figure a way to win the race. That's really where I am with it. And facts of the matter is, I'm Bears win, and this goes back to what Chris was saying earlier on with us being labeled as a pro Justin podcast. I'm Bears win. That's the team that I'm playing for, and I think under all pretenses, it is best. We will win the most likeliest if Justin Fields works out. It's about that simple. If Justin Fields works out and becomes a I'm not gonna like raise the bar and make him all things. But if he can be a semi-decent quarterback as time progresses, they have the ability to keep those picks this year, potentially trade and get more, and build an insane team.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, kids. And the only thing I'm going to disagree with you on that in your statement is Justin's already a semi-decent. That was a low bar. I think he's a good quarterback.
I think
He
so
just-
too.
he just needs-
don't. Chris, and that's why I left the bar low.
You're
Others
right.
don't.
You're right.
Others don't, and there's a lot of questions yet to be answered, and I understand that.
And
But-
it's not a black or white issue like you said. I'm a Bears fan.
No,
You know,
there-
as much
there-
as
there
much
is
as I'm
one.
thinking about the off season right now, for when that game starts, I'm down with my team. I'm not programmed to want them to lose ever. I can't do it by nature. I'll tell you who I am prejudiced against though: bad coaching. I hate
They do
bad
not get a
coaches,
pass.
and I don't care what flavor they're in. And it's up to us whether we got a mobile black quarterback or mobile white quarterback in the pocket. Coach to your team strengths. It's just that simple.
It is.
All right.
That's what-
I just
That's
tell
why
you.
Matt Nagy is not here anymore.
That's
Right?
what
Like,
we've done a terrible job of. I think Trubisky could have been better.
Well, fellas,
Coach
I'm
failed him
going
too.
to go back down memory lane. I'm going to just tell you why that conversation was front and center on my mind coming into this show. It's because I had to watch one effing play get scrutinized. And I really think all 22, I think the NFL ought to reconsider that. Putting that, because everybody thinks they're a god dang on expert. All of a sudden they get one little all 22 clip. I had to watch these people over and over all week on Twitter talk about this one play Justin had when he threw the bomb to Tyler Scott. To TJ here all week long. One effing play. He's not reading defenses right. So I get tired of seeing that kind of stuff. I'm forced to be the one to do PR on Twitter and on social media because it's our channel, but I got to take the lead on that kind of stuff. I wish I did not have to get on that app. I swear to God, I hate that app. But that's the kind of stuff that's on my mind, and I apologize that it turned into a racial conversation, but it tended to be mostly white people that were talking that crap, and it just was eating me up, and I could not help it. I apologize, guys.
Well, we had one guest that made up for all the black folks in the world. I ain't gonna mention his name, but
at the end of the day, man,
he did a hell of a job.
Listen, we all want the same thing. I know it's a lot of people in here who in the chat too, who are the Bajent, who think Bajent gives us the better opportunity.
If he did, I'm a member of the agency all day long.
But he's not.
I just want to win, man. I'm a Bears fan, like Chris said before anything. Yes, I believe in Justin Fields, but this isn't a Justin Fields centric podcast. This is a Bears centric podcast. We're Bears fans at the end of the day. We just are in agreement that we feel that Justin Fields is the guy right now at this point in time that we feel it could lead us to the promised land, man. He can be our Eli Manning. We're not asking him to be the all-world quarterback. I think
he doesn't build
the team around him. We can get us a
great analogy. Like if he's Eli, he can be Eli. He doesn't have to be Peyton.
Right. He doesn't have to be Peyton.
Doesn't have to be Peyton. If he's Peyton, wow! We struck gold.
Mm-hmm.
But facts of the matter is, he's here. We have him for X amount of time on dollars and cents that the team can't afford. This coming draft, they can do some magical things. Like we're missing on this team is some blue chippers, and we can get some blue chippers.
Put those blue chippers around Justin.
Hey,
Exactly.
we got a couple of minutes here before we got to get you guys out to the game. I want to talk about some specifics that we could do different. Because if you look at the first Minnesota game and you look at the tape, everything you're gonna tend to focus on what the defense was doing to us and how you would want to react as an offense to what they were doing. I'm gonna give you a couple of tips that came out to me, and this is the stuff I was talking about right after the game, but I'll reiterate what I was saying. To me, it's easy. You gotta
run right at it.
What's that?
Run right at it.
You got to run right at it. Yes, in between the tackles. You got to run right. That's the best way to beat a blitz. You attack it right up the middle, right at the blitz, because blitzes like that, zero blitzes like that tend to come right at you. They're coming right in your face. Right? Here's a good example of that.
First play of the game.
First play of the game. I hate that
man.
play.
That was just a bad coach.
If that was a rush, that would probably been like a 20, 30-yard rush.
Golly, man, you guys aren't on Twitter. I hate that play, man, because like I was telling Chris before, that's one of those plays that kept talking about the entire week into the next game. It's like overanalyzing stuff because you got all 22 video after Justin explained it at the podium. But I'm not going to spend too much time on that. What I'm saying is the way you beat the blitz is you line up in heavy personnel and you attack it. But you have to have heavy personnel out there. You can always split it out. You can go into an audio if you go out there in heavy personnel, and you can split guys out and get into your passing formations from heavy personnel. But it's going to be hard to do that when you come out in zero in a 5 wide with nobody protecting. It's going to be hard to get that blocked up. You need to come out in heavy personnel, and you can fan that out into a passing play if you see the wrong thing. But you've got to attack that defense right after the blitz. You got to go right up the middle, in between the tackles. And if you can get it blocked up, you're going to be one-on-one. If you can recognize where that blitz is coming from, you're going to have one-on-one coverage out there. And if you can get that blocked up, you got the right personnel out there, you can burn them several times. And if they do that the right way, I can see DJ, I can see Moon get some shots. I can see Bayless or Tyler Scott get some shots and hit their head on the goalpost tonight, man. So if they do that the right way, if they scheme that up the right way and get things blocked up the right way, and the contingency plan is to make sure it's blocked up first, get it blocked up first, and then fan it out if you need to and throw the ball down the field. But get it blocked up first and run the ball.
Yeah, that would be a good one too, Yeshua. But
underneath pass, catch and run.
Yeshua, yes, thank you, Yeshua. Throw behind the blitz. You know, the blitz is coming off the edge. You throw right behind it. You throw right where that guy exited. That's where you throw to. That spot right there. You get a receiver crossing that path.
He's right, though. We just don't do that. I don't know why we don't do it. We've talked about this before. They just don't do that. But coaching, man. We will see some screen game tonight, positive or negative. Again,
that's the worst play to call against.
But you know, we will see it. You know, we will see it today. With Khalil Herbert on the field, I don't think that that's a terrible thing. I don't mind screen game with Khalil Herbert on the field. We'll see, man. I'm actually positive about this game again. I was positive about the Lions game. I'm positive about this Vikings game. I don't think the talent that they have on the field matches up well with what we're going to put on today. And to that degree, if they outcoach us,
kids, I do think the defense can eat today. I think the defense can really eat today. No Kirk Cousins, and I'm not throwing no shade against can't think of his name, Dobbs right now. I think Dobbs is a really good quarterback, but he's different. He understands the system like light years ahead of Dobbs right now because he's played in it for a few years. But I think the defense could really, really eat. And I'll tell you something to pay attention to, Samo. Looking at these highlights, man, I'm telling you something that I've been noticing. And everybody knows I'm a Javon Dexter guy. But here's what I think is going on right now. I think the whole season, I think he's been simmering. Now it's starting to bubble and foam the last 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. I'm serious, guys. Watch 99. The last 2 weeks, I'm seeing him bubbling and foaming. I think it's about to go. It's about to flow over the pot this week. This is a good opportunity for him. Hopefully, they give him the snaps that he needs to really start getting the flow or getting the feel for the guys he's trying to attack. But I think he's found two moves. I think he's found a speed to power. I think he's found a speed or a power to cross chop. Power to cross chop, getting over the top of somebody. It looks starting to look a lot like what Buckner does, but I think he went from simmer to bubble and foam in like 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Did you say get that snatch that he likes?
What?
Is that what he said, Samo?
What you talking about, man?
He said
Nothing,
snap.
man.
Snap.
He said,
Snap.
Okay, I got a question.
Oh, he said the snap.
Snap.
Nomad. Was Lucas Patrick's name on the inactive list?
No. He's playing.
So that's our starting center tonight.
He's starting
Yes,
tonight.
Okay.
Hey,
Looks
man,
like
this
the
game-
line looks good.
This game is gonna be about coaching, like y'all said. We just talked about Flukes and his employment of the defensive line, not only Tez, but that also goes to who Nomad was just talking about, and Javon Dexter. Like, they're not getting enough snaps. You have to play the guys who play well, who are playing well, especially towards the end of the game. In a game where the defense was only on the field for 20 minutes, man, his answer made no sense at all. That was just complete incompetence, man, by a coach. And the other play at the goal line, just another incompetent play, man. You don't put a guy who's played maybe 10% of the snaps the entire year in on a critical play at the goal line, man. I'm sorry. I don't care how good you think he is, man. You put the guys out there that you know are good, guys who've been making plays for you, unless they're injured. And they weren't injured, man. You're talking about a rotation. That's incompetence, man, and coaching malpractice. Hoping we don't see a lot more of that tonight, man, because that's the only thing that could beat us, man, is bad coaching. I think we're the more talented team by far. I absolutely feel that way, but hard work gonna be talent when talent is not coached well.
On the
So
field,
it's not coached well on the field. So I think the other team is gonna have to work harder at whatever game plan is put in place for them, and we're gonna be suffering from this inept game plan that's going to be put in our laps by our players, and they're going to be forced to play whatever the coaches are calling out there, which could hurt us in a sense, man. Hopefully it doesn't happen. Hopefully these coaches are waking up, but that's the only thing that could beat us, because offensively and defensively, I feel like we're the more talented team.
So we have to also point out the reality here. So there's no excuse, really, for poor coaching today. You know what I'm saying? Like, not to say that there ever is, but we've already faced this team. We know what you're about. There's tape on how you played this team this year under these coaches with their scheme. There's really no excuse for Matt Eberflus tonight or for Luke Getsy tonight. They should come out gangbusters tonight, and I hope they do.
I'm looking at Justin Fields coming out the tunnel right now as we speak, as they're getting ready to get into the progressive kickoff and all that kind of crap. They're about to do all that. But man, dog, I think he's got a different energy. I think what's going on with Justin right now is not what people think. I think what's going on with Justin right now is I already know what is. I already know. It doesn't matter what everybody else is talking about. I know what I am, and I know what I can do. Don't underestimate the moment and the big game on national TV where everybody's watching right now. That is not lost on someone like Justin Fields. He's a gamer. And believe what Mike Singletary said when he said that cat has a heart of a champion. Mm-hmm. That dude really does have a heart of a champion. I think people are kind of delayed to realizing that. I think as it goes on, I think people will start to recognize that more and more, and that will be more of the conversation rather than is Justin Fields the guy or not. I think it's going to be about this dude has a heart of a champion. He can put this team on his back and will us to a win anytime he wants to, and whenever this team needs him to do that. I think that's going to be more of the conversation going forward. All this crap about who we think the next quarterback ought to be, I'm telling you, I'm not against you people. I'm not against you people at all, but I think you are missing the point. This dude, we got the dude. Now it's about finding the right people to put him in position to win. And I'm looking at him and just imagining what that would be for somebody with the it factor going on, knowing that the whole world is watching him. And what should I put on display out here? Trust me, he's ready for this moment. And I don't know what the coaching has in mind about how they want to scheme and get this thing off and running, but he's gonna figure out a way to get this W. I got the Bears tonight.
Me too.
The Justin Fields revenge game for me. Yes, sir. I got him tonight.
Strange feeling.
It's the offensive line revenge game.
Yes,
So that's what I want to see. This is really one of the first times Justin's going to have the entire first string healthy offensive line in front of him. So, I think this is a fair game to judge what happens. I think he's going to do well. Bears win.
I think that's the biggest factor because Danielle Hunter just 8 last time. 8.
He did.
Yep.
Let's hope everybody stays healthy and everybody balls out, man. Play up to their potential, man. Because I think we got some dogs on our offensive line. Those guys are underrated. I think people are starting to take notice of what we have on our offensive line, especially when we have Lucas Patrick in at center. I think that we talked a lot about Lucas Patrick over the past 2 years, but we see now that that's his position. At center, he's pretty sturdy. He's not the best, but he can be consistent there, and that's all we need.
He's good. He unfortunately gets hurt. He has to be on the field. When he's on the field, I'm quite pleased with the center that we have today. Right, like. Do we double down and do other things with that position down the road? Perhaps, but the guy who wears 62, I like 62 for the Bears, man. He does a pretty decent job.
Yeah, and we're going to have to get a good effort from Khalil Herbert tonight, chipping.
Yes.
I'm going to need him to get his nose in there.
We might see a lot of Roshan Johnson today. I think we might see a lot of Roshan Johnson today.
Yeah.
I think what is it, week 12? This is a good time for him, man. It's a good time to shine. We just talked about that power running game, and that's his game. So
I'm gonna say the craziest thing ever. So I didn't touch the Velus Jones. In this particular game, Velus Jones would be a valuable asset to have. I starkly disagree with most of all the other Velus take from earlier on, but I'll leave it there. In this particular game, you could really just scheme up the rush all first half. If I was Luke Getsy, I would scheme up the rush all first half and see what happens, including Velus Jones on the block. Hope to God he can block, and Velus Jones on the jet sweep reverse case scenario as much as possible, even if it's just a fake to go the other direction, right? But that's my 2 cents.
So I think we kind of went around the horn already. Before I give my last comments, make sure, guys, I said this and I keep saying this, all you people new to the channel, all these people new to the show, hey, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Specifically the subscribe button, because we may be doing some content that you guys may be into in the near future that you probably want to be a part of, and we're going to do it for our subscribers, man. But right now is a good time to do that. If you want to be a part of that content, it's going to be some great stuff. I'm telling you guys right now. So this is a really good time to hit that subscribe button right now. So I'm going to put that out there before I finish.
Don't cost nothing.
And it's painless. And so before I finish Before I finish this up, I think everybody needs to remember going into this game, it's a national TV game. The world is watching. Everybody needs to be on their A game. I like what Pohl said on ESPN 1000 to Joniak. He wants to see a game where we jump on somebody, stay on them, and finish it early. I would love to see that too. This is a good opportunity to do that. Jump on them early, put them behind you, and just finish them on off and be done with them early so you can get some of these younger guys in here and give them some playing time. You know what I mean? I would love to see that. I'm 100% in agreement with Ryan Poles. But I see the number of chat is gone from 80 something down to 45. What that's telling me is you guys are ready to go watch some football, so I ain't gonna hold you.
Hey, man.
Guys, go ahead.
Don Burr is calling us names again, man.
All right, get it.
Oh no.
Whatever, bum. Whatever, bum.
Bums.
We'll deal with him after the show because he
want us to win.
We'll deal with him. We'll deal with him post game because where else he gonna
All
be?
right.
He's gonna be in our post game. So
Yes, sir. Everybody, make sure to come back post game. We're on immediately after the game, post game show tonight, and we talk about a win or a loss. Hopefully, it's a win.
Bears win.
what Samo just said, make sure you show up right after the game. We're doing Nomad at Night post game on the Nomad Network. But I ain't gonna hold you guys, and we'll see you after the game. Immediately after the game, we will be live. So without further ado, I'm gonna leave you guys with this: love, peace, hair grease, y'all. Win this, Bears.
Let's go. Let's go, Bears.
Boom.